Pretty close, though. Sainz pipped it in the end, but... it was pretty close. These aren't the qualifying dogs. These are from FP3, but timing screen hasn't updated yet. It'll update shortly. Let me see if we can get it to update. Let's look. Try to have a look. I'm trying to find out what happened with those decisions from FP3. For any of you that that watched it, I mean, it was absolutely absolutely bonkers what happened. You had Charles Leclerc that got absolutely pissy at Norris and just swerved into him. Then you had Lance Stroll that swerved into Hamilton as well. All very, very bizarre and unnecessary, it has to be said. Very, very weird. But Formula One's weird right now, right? Like, Formula One is bloody weird at the minute. And the driver tracker up as well. Perfect. Right, got the driver tracker. Timings. I am good to go. Good to go, good to roll. So while that's happening, Lance Stroll is given a reprimand for his FP3 incident. The driver of car 18 stated that he got impeded by car 44 into turn 5 and that upset him. He admitted he wanted to express his displeasure to the other driver by pulling over on him at the exit. Both cars made slight contact, which was incidental. However, the stewards consider the move made by car 18, whilst not being dangerous, to be erratic and therefore issue a driving reprimand in line with precedents. That's probably fair. I'm not sure if there's been a decision on Charles Leclerc, but Charles Leclerc's incident with Lando, I actually think was worse and far more erratic. It was far more erratic, so it'd be interesting to see what they do with that, if anything, as it happens. I mean, you just don't know. If Lance Stroll's getting a reprimand, you have to assume Charles Leclerc is going to get at least a reprimand, maybe more. Because he was blocked by Hamilton, admittedly, but I mean, it's a practice session. It does happen. But I mean, what he did was clearly stupid. But Charles Leclerc, I mean, Charles Leclerc's been having a good session. I don't know why he went and did what he did. I don't know why he got that angry. It just seems so unnecessary. And over the top, given the circumstances. But, you know, happened, didn't it? It happened. I haven't seen a result yet for that, though. I'm just having a look. It is mad that he admitted, though, that he wanted to show his displeasure to the other driver. And by doing that, he's made contact. But he does only get a reprimand. It is a little bit wild, but I think the problem was he meant to pull over and block Lewis off to get back at him. But in doing so, he made contact with him. Well, it was a really weird incident, Afi. So there was 2 separate incidents. I want to say going into turn 6, Lewis was blocking Lance a little bit. He hadn't been told on the radio that Lance was coming. And so he was blocking Lewis a little bit. But then Lance has slowed down because he was got blocking. And then he's moved to sort of block Lewis off on the corner and just turned into him. And then just after that same corner, Charles Leclerc was annoyed that Norris was in front of him. And to be fair, Norris got out of the way. Charles Leclerc, like, turned right in front of him and hit the brakes. And they made contact. Really weird and unnecessary decisions. I don't know why, but... So... I'm be interested to see what happens with Charles Leclerc. Yeah, it was real petulance, but... I mean, it sounds mad. I expect it off... I expect it off Lance Stroll. Charles Leclerc, not so much, to be honest. But there we go. You can have that sort of action. Well, I say that. Max Verstappen's been guilty of doing it. You remember Sebastian Vettel in Baku? When he literally drove alongside Lewis and then turned into him. Fuck all happened with it. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. Who's actually on today, Afi? Who's playing? We got Georgia, Czech Republic. I haven't actually looked who's playing in the football. Belgium, Romania, and Turkey, Portugal. Interesting. When's England's next game? Tuesday. Yeah. Some of the Euros games have been really good. I'm glad I didn't watch the France-Netherlands game. It seems like that was a bit of a dud. Although I didn't, like I say, I didn't watch it. So I don't know if that is the case. Last game of the day of 3 games. They were having oh yeah, it's just 2 games. And they're at the same times. So Sunday they're both at 8 o'clock. Monday they're both at 8 o'clock. Then Tuesday they're at 8 o'clock. Then Wednesday they're both at 5 o'clock. Then there's a couple days off. Okay. Interesting. I've been watching some of it. I haven't watched all of it. I've been trying to catch Scotland's games, and obviously I've seen a bit of England's games. Right. Let me get the broadcast on. I don't even have the broadcast on at the minute. See what they're saying. What you saying? Qualifying is going to be real tight, I think. It's going to be real tight. Based on everything I've seen, I mean, any one of about 6 drivers could get pole position. It'd be easier to say who's not going to get pole position. Logan Sargent, Alex Albon, Zhou Guanyu, Valtteri Bottas, Nico Hulkenberg, Kevin Magnussen, Sergio Perez, Fernando Alonso, Lance Stroll, Daniel Ricciardo, Yuki Tsunoda. None of those drivers are going to get pole position. Esteban Ocon, Pierre Gasly, not going to get pole position. Everyone else, I mean, in theory, has a chance. In theory. Martin Brundle isn't at Spain this weekend. It's such a close race to him at home. It's weird that this is one he's chosen to miss. Why not choose to miss one of the long flyaway ones? Of course, I forgot. Perez, even if he qualified pole position, has a 3-place grid penalty because of Canada, doesn't he? So... only a reprimand for Charles Leclerc as well. No, it was dangerous what Charles Leclerc did. I mean, I don't know what they consider to be dangerous anymore. He's slammed across the front of Norris and hit the brakes. How is that not dangerous? He's done it in anger. You've got to stamp that out. Reprimands are no good. You've got to stamp. You shouldn't be. You don't want them given a penalty, but at the same time, you have to stamp that shit out. It's nonsense that they've got away with that. That's nonsense, honestly. Like, the Lance Stroll one was stupid, but the Charles Leclerc one was dangerous. If you see it from Norris's perspective, it was dangerous and unnecessary. They should be more heavily penalised for doing that to make sure that no one else will do it. A reprimand's neither here nor there, is it? Yeah, that's... I don't want Charles Leclerc to get penalised because I think he's got a chance for pole position, but at the same time, he did something stupid and he deserved to be punished for it. But there we go. The stewards have made their decision. Once again, I want to say beggaring belief, but I'm not sure it works in that context. Yeah, I mean, listen, if I was running those penalties and dishing out those penalties, I'd be harsh with stuff like that so that no one else would do it. Not to the point where you're punishing one driver unfairly. What I'm saying is you set the precedent of this is not acceptable. You can't just drive into another car when you get angry. Like, that's not okay. Yeah, it's madness. Absolute madness. I can't... Do you remember... I talked about it. Do you remember Vettel in Baku? when he pulled alongside Lewis and then just smashed into him. I want to say 2018, 2019. And I don't think he got a penalty for that. And that's a clear case of putting alongside a driver and turning into them. Intentionally. I mean, what does it take? What does it take? Lance Stroll even admitted what he was doing, and he still only got a reprimand. I mean, yeah. I'm not sure what you've got to do these days to be punished for it. Q1 has started, by the way, officially. Zhou Guanyu out on track. It looks a bit cloudier. I'm not sure on the track temperature, but it looks like it might be a bit cooler than FP3. Looks a little bit more overcast. I think lower track temperatures would definitely suit Mercedes. Just looking at this Kick Sauber, I'm wondering if it's grown on me. The livery, that is. And I can honestly say, no. No, it hasn't. Still horrible. Afternoon, Chuck. Do you though, Wilco? It's still got loads of carbon, and you hate carbon. It's just a green zigzag with some carbon. There's just something about that that green to me that just looks... I don't know what it is. It's actually that type of green that just looks... I don't know, cheap, and... Do you know what I mean? I can't quite put my finger on it or really explain it. I can't really think of the word that I'm looking for, but it just doesn't quite... Ugh. Hi, Tom. The RBs didn't look too great during the 3 practice sessions, by the way. They've brought a very updated car this weekend, so maybe they're just struggling to get it in the right place. So we'll see. Lance Stroll there with a 14 flat. Ooh. Ooh. Now, Sergio Perez didn't look great during the qualifying runs during FP3 either. He was 7/10 off Max Verstappen in the laps that I saw. And he's going to get a 3-place penalty. So, let's have a little poll here, guys. Who's going to get pole position? A poll for pole. Who? I wish I could do a poll with with more than 4 responses. Who's gonna get poll? Manage poll. How many can I have on it? I think it's only 4. Oh no, hold on. You can only have 5. Can't have enough. Yeah, I mean, Charles probably will. I mean, you're probably not wrong there. Yeah, we were just talking about this. I just think it's bonkers that it's only a reprimand. It's an intentional movement, and the steward said it wasn't dangerous. And what do you class as dangerous then? Intentionally moving over another car, slamming on the brakes, and making contact. That's not dangerous. Okay. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand it at all. I don't want him to get a penalty, but it was stupid and he deserves one. And this is the exact thing we were saying. You have to be harsh with those things and stamp it out. You can't have a situation where that now becomes acceptable because they've only got a reprimand for it. Stroll's was stupid, but Leclerc's was far worse. Moronic. It should have got a grid penalty. I think it was bad enough to get a grid penalty and say, listen, you were an idiot. You're going to get a grid penalty now. Don't do it again. And no one would do it. Good afternoon, Eddie. I just think it's absolutely stupid. But there you go. 12.3 straight away for Verstappen. Piastri and Perez 7/10 off that time. When does it start? It's already started, Edis. Already started. Hamilton 7/10 off Verstappen as well. Norris matches Verstappen's time there. Alonso goes 6th. Not great times from Piastri, Perez, Hamilton there. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz both putting in good lap times so far. I think Ferrari's going to get pole. Neck and neck. Charles Leclerc goes provisional. Well. Oh, Sainz loses time in the final sector. Russell, where's Russell's lap time? Hulkenberg goes P5. Yikes. Gasly goes P5. Hello. Russell only goes 5th. It is only 2/10 away, though. I'm not sure what happened to Perez, Piastri, and Hamilton for them to be so far off. Sonoda struggling. Logan Sargent and Stroll. Oh, God. Lance Stroll at it again. Sabotage. Sabotage. It would be another example of Lewis Hamilton being really fast at a practice session, then as soon as he gets to qualifying, he's like much slower with no. The conspiracies will recommence. No, it's a definite impeding from Sargent. I mean, that's. I mean, not that it's going to matter. You can't make someone. You know, and the only way that this would make a difference for Sargent is if they would move the grid boxes back for someone that had a grid penalty when they're starting last, because he'll likely start the race last. So a 3-place grid penalty isn't really going to make much of a difference. Hmm. Yeah, I feel like Hamilton. Yeah, as the commentators were just saying, like probably Hulkenberg, Gasly, Hamilton, Piastri, and everyone down will put a fresh set of boots on, which is not what he would have wanted. So Formula One is such a close sport. You look on board with this Williams, and it looks really. I mean, it looks hooked up. It looks quick, and yet it's struggling to get out of the first part of qualifying. So in reality, it's not. But it looks, still looks fast. I think Albon will struggle to get through here because once everyone else has done their laps. 12th, but I'm not sure if it'll be enough. Oh my god, look at this queue coming out of the pits. Right, let's see what Checo's got in the bag. He's about to start his last lap of Q1. I mean, it'd be insane if Perez didn't reach Q3 again without any issues at a circuit like this. It would be crazy. So he's a 10th down in Sector 1, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything because drivers have been taking it easy in Sector 1, so they've got more tyres at the end of the lap, so... So we'll look Perez as he gets to Sector 2. He is 2 tenths down, but it's going to be enough. It'll be enough. Perez goes P6, 2 tenths. I mean, it was a decent lap. You know, it hasn't set the world on fire, but it's more than enough to get him through. Bottas and Zhou Guanyu go 7th and 8th. Ocon in the boat, 7th place. The Alpines haven't actually looked that slow, to tell you the truth. Hamilton was 2 tenths up on Charles Leclerc in the middle sector. Yeah, Albon's out. He's pitted and he's already dropped. Hamilton goes quickest, but I mean, he's on a new set, I think, so he's safe. Obviously. Oh, 15 for Ricciardo. Tsunoda's currently down in 19th, so Tsunoda's going to need to improve as well. Alonso's in 16th, and he didn't have a great first sector. Should be enough for him, though. 9th. Oof. Good enough. It'll be good enough. Gasly goes 10th. The engine sounds really different on the Alpines. It's a much more whiny engine. Lance Stroll. Oh my god, Lance Stroll only goes 14th. Oi, oi, oi. Tsunoda. 16th. Both RBs out. Hulkenberg goes 12th. Kevin Magnussen is now in the bottom, but Lance Stroll's in 15th. And Sargent stays last. Lance Stroll survives. Both RBs out in Q1 is a surprise. 17th and 18th for Tsunoda and Ricciardo. With their heavily upgraded car. Well, I mean, for all intents and purposes, Sargent is... He's Latifi 2.0, isn't he? Bless him. Kevin Magnussen fell out in 16th. Tsunoda, obviously pretty gutted to find out that he's out in Q1. Poor kid. It's like I say, it's all relative. I mean, he's obviously a very good racing driver, but when it comes to Formula One, he's just not at that level, is he? No shame in that. But I would say both Saubers going through is a huge surprise to me. If you would have told me that both Saubers were going to go through and both RBs were going to go out, I would have been surprised. However, both RBs have been struggling during the practice sessions, so it has been coming. They brought a big upgrade for RB. Probably the next biggest upgrade package compared to, say, someone like Ferrari. Small sculpted side pods, the whole shebang, basically. And maybe they're just struggling to get on top of it, and they haven't quite nailed it yet, I guess. So, we'll see. Yuki ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, but not by much. Less than a tenth, I think, but... The point is there, they both are struggling. Hmm. Oh, Logan. Sounds a bit dejected, Logan Sargent. I'm trying my best, he said. I feel for him. I do, because he seems like a really nice guy. No hate towards him. He's just not at the level required. And there's no shame in that. You know, this is... It is what it is. Watching this Lance Stroll, yeah. I don't really understand what's happened to Aston Martin. Can anyone explain it to me? Beginning, last year they were so strong, and then they brought an upgraded car, which, honestly, the car looks really aggressive. At the start of the season, if you told me which two cars were perhaps going to be the quickest, when we saw them all, I think the Red Bull looked like a rocket ship, and Aston Martin looked super aggressive with the inlets and everything. It looked so good. But it hasn't been, has it? It hasn't been. They've had a couple of moments, but they've not been there this season so far. They've kind of gone backwards a little bit. And I think a large part of that is because teams like McLaren and Ferrari have, made big jumps. But... So... Whole new sort of, they've reworked the pit building. a little bit, like the concourse at Spain. There's a new scoreboard. There's obviously that new building on the back straight. They've actually redone quite a lot of it. Yeah, I think this is the problem. There isn't. Formula One is really close right now, and if you look at the times, I think it was 8/10ths between pole position and Sonoda getting knocked out, right? So if you want to be in the top 15, top 10, it could be a 10th. That could be it. And all of a sudden, you go from being 7th and looking like a hero, or 15th and being knocked out. Like, that's the difference. Which is kind of bonkers, but that's the way it is. You know, pole position at the minute in Canada, there was times when the top 4 guys were separated by less than a 10th. One small mistake, one small correction, braking 10 meters too late for a corner, whatever it might be, could be the difference between getting pole and getting 4th place. 5-6 years ago, pole would be 6/10ths quicker than the car behind, but it's not like that anymore. It's a lot closer. And it's a lot closer at the front, and it's a lot closer in the midfield. So, as you say, they're fighting tooth and nail in that midfield just for a few points here and there. Well, I don't think they're maxed out, Curran, because I think the engineers have said there is still performance to find, but there will be a wall with these regulations compared to the old regulations, from what I've heard people like Newey saying. You know, there will be a point where there will be diminishing returns. So they are definitely more limited than what they used to be. A little bit of a lift through now for Landstrom. I mean, it looked like a nice lap from Lance Stroll from the offboard, but right, all of the big boys come out now. Looks like Hamilton is on a used set of tires. So because he had to use another set in Q1, I think he's using that used set in the first run of Q2, which Karun said would be a good idea. Perez, Alonso, Gasly, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Zhou Guanyu are all on new tires. I mean, they just completely stopped in the pit lane. I thought we stopped this nonsense, man. Bloody hell. I thought we stopped this nonsense, but we haven't stopped it at all. It's still happening. Where drivers just trundle down the pit lane to get a gap. I hate it. It's taken like 2 minutes to get out of the pit lane. It's a joke. It's a joke, honestly. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that. That's such a joke. It's showing Hamilton's tyres as new on this screen. I don't think they were. Maybe they are. Yeah, it's a good lap from Ocon. 12.3. Perez 12.2. We're definitely going to get into the 11s. Track's ramping up now. Oh, hello, Gasly with a 12.1. Where did that come from? 12.3 from Hulkenberg. Ay, ay, ay. Alonso goes P5. Piastri's going good in Sector 2. Sainz is going very good. Purple Sector 1 and Sector 2. This could be into the 11s here. Charles Leclerc does a 12 flat. Piastri won't match that. Oh, he actually beats it by 2/100ths. Okay. I stand corrected. Norris is going slightly quicker than Piastri, but Sainz does an 11.8. Into the 11s. Norris does an 11.8. 2/1000ths of a second quicker. Verstappen's on a quick time here as well. 11.6 from Verstappen. Oh my lordy lordy. Hamilton a second off. P6 for Russell, 12.1. Half a second off Verstappen's time. Wow. That's not showing as a new set for me on Hamilton's. Interesting. Flavio. I wonder if we'll see Flavio in the pit lane and how he'll be welcomed. I'm not really sure I see anyone using these softs in the race tomorrow, at least not at the start. I'm not sure I see it. They have done runs on them, long runs on them, but... So Stroll's now on a new set of tires. He's only just up on the time of Ocon. Ooh, Stroll only goes P10. Will that be enough? I don't think he'll get another lap in. Lewis definitely on a new set of tires now. Right, let's see what Hamilton can do. I'm not sure Mercedes do have the pace for pole, based on what I've seen in qualifying so far. Hamilton's got Alonso ahead of him here. I mean, this will be enough for Hamilton, I would have thought. Yeah, P2. Second fastest to Verstappen, but there's more than good enough to get him through. Other people will improve, but... He's got such a unique sound, the Alpine engine. Sounds like a supercharger. Ocon goes 7th. I think Ocon's will go through. Hulkenberg stays P12, so that's good for Ocon. Gasly and Perez. Gasly goes P7. Perez? 7th. It's enough, though, I think. It's enough, but... Russell's going quick, but so I don't think he's at risk, even though he's in 10th. Ooh, Alonso 11th. Russell goes P3. That's Alonso out then. The two Saubers out, the kick Saubers, which we expected in FP1, to be fair. So the two Saubers, the two Aston Martins, and then the other Haas of Hulkenberg. Which means both Alpines make it into Q3. That's really, really good. That's really good. Honestly, it is anyone's here. Verstappen put in such a good lap then to be ahead, but at the same time, it's only a few tenths in it between multiple drivers, so this could be anyone's here. It could be anyone's. So, oy. Hey, Tom, Adam, thank you very much. Well, was it? It was one of you. Oh, welcome, spinning dogs, the eggs. Tommy, hey, Tom. We're just catching the end of qualifying. You've just made it for Q3. Yeah, you can see what I've said about pineapple, and listen, I won't apologize for it. Elden Ring. Yeah, I haven't. Do you know what? I haven't even looked at anyone playing Elden Ring DLC, just because I probably will play it at some point. I just don't want to pay £40 for it, if I'm being honest. So at some point I will play it, just not right now. No rage. Yeah, I mean, yeah. No one gets angry at Elden Ring, do they? No one gets angry at Elden Ring. It's easy game, isn't it? I did enjoy Elden Ring. I really enjoyed it. I just didn't... I'm not good at it, obviously. I'm bloody terrible. But I enjoyed it, even though it was ridiculously hard. It was a good challenge. I just don't want to pay 40 quid for the DLC. I'm just being real. How far has Tom got into the DLC then? Someone was saying it's about 40 hours. Is that true? The thing is, I haven't seen much on the DLC, so I'm not even saying it's too expensive. I'm just saying I don't want to pay 40 quid for it right now, you know? So I'm not saying it's not worth it. I don't know how big it is. I'm just saying I don't want to pay any money for it right now. Yeah, I thought that Tom was away for a little bit. Been on his hollybobs. Yeah, so I'll play it at some point. At some point. But not today. Also, going on to what you said, Tilbo. Oh, Maya Mueller, thank you very much for 62 months as well. I'm really surprised Charles Leclerc didn't get punished. I mean, what he did in FP3, I just don't think it's called for at all. And a reprimand isn't enough of a punishment to stop people doing that sort of thing. Amazingly, the stewards in their assessment said they didn't believe it was dangerous. Okay. Let's just use cars as weapons now then, shall we? No problem. No biggie. Taco, thank you for the 23 months. Let's just go full Wreckfest now, guys. No problem. Full Wreckfest. Just get a reprimand. No big deal. Tom. Thank you so much, buddy, for the 95 months. Hope you had a nice little break. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. I have been instructed of the Elden Ring aging. I saw something on the Elden Ring DLC. Like I said, I haven't watched anything on it, but I did see an article that said it was really hard. I haven't watched anything on it, though, or seen any of the bosses. I have managed to avoid it. Right, who's getting pole position? Who's getting pole position, dogs? Come on. Here's your options. Verstappen, Hamilton, Russell, Norris, Sainz, Piastri, Leclerc, Perez. In fact, no, Perez not getting pole position. Gasly and Ocon aren't getting pole position, nor is Perez. So you've got Leclerc, Sainz, Piastri, Norris, Russell, Hamilton, Verstappen. Piastri's not going to get it either. I don't think Hamilton will. And I don't think Russell will either. So it's Leclerc, Sainz. I think it's Leclerc, Sainz, Norris, or Verstappen. Leclerc, Sainz, Norris, and Verstappen. They're the four, I think, that are the most likely to get it. We'll see. Max, Norris, Sainz, you reckon, Silbo? Okay. Based on his lap time in FP2, in Q2 there, I do actually think Max will probably get it. I do think he'll probably get it. Was pretty lightning quick, wasn't it? It was a really bad fire in the McLaren hospitality unit as well. I don't know if you saw. Even after FP3, they were still trying to put it out. It was some sort of... they believe it was an electrical fire in one of the conduits that has set itself ablaze. There was a lot of smoke. And it had to be evacuated. Perez out straight away. Perez ain't messing around. Yeah, he's out. I don't want to say used tyres. No messing about. No messing about. On a new set, Verstappen. But Perez used 2 sets in Q1, as did Hamilton. But Hamilton then used one of those sets in Q2, so that I believe Hamilton's got 2 new sets for Q3. I wonder if Perez didn't use that used set, so now he has to use it in Q3, maybe. Does that make sense? This situation getting out of the pit lane is an absolute... It's a joke, guys. It's an absolute joke. They have to fix this situation of cars basically trundling down the pit lane. Basically, they were sick of cars making gaps out on the track and slowing people down. So they went, okay, here's now a maximum time from the pit exit line to the start-finish line. You have to abide by it. So you have to be there within a certain amount of time. The problem is, drivers have gone, okay. I'll just build a gap in the pit lane before that line. So that's what they do. So cars just go really slowly at the end of the pit lane, trundle down. So much so that in Q3, the cars towards the end of the queue were there for almost a minute and a half getting out. Because all the cars ahead of them were going so slow. And don't get me wrong, there's no particular driver to blame. They're all doing it. It's a thing that all of them do. But the FIA probably just need to do something about it and be like, come on, lads. You sort yourself out. It's just nonsense, isn't it? Right, Checo's on his fast lap now. He is a bit out of sync with everyone. He's got Sainz and Ocon to get past in the final sector. Ocon, I think, will get out of his way. He's past Sainz now. Yes, Sainz got well off the track there. And Ocon's already gone around the final corner, so... I think this is the only time that Perez is going to set a purple. 13 flat. He is on used tyres, though. But we were already in the 11s in Q2. So, you know, just bear that in mind. He is on used tyres, though. As Verstappen goes 2/10 quicker in the first sector, unsurprising, he is on new tyres. Sainz 4/10 quicker than Perez in the first sector. We've seen this, though. Being quick in the first sector doesn't necessarily guarantee you anything. A lot of drivers have purposely been going slower in Sector 1 so that they've got enough tyres in Sector 2, Sector 3. We've seen cars going so fast in Sector 1 and then dropping off. So it doesn't necessarily mean anything. Verstappen with a lightning fast middle sector. Sainz hasn't come through the timing screen yet. They're pretty neck and neck, Verstappen and Sainz. An 11.6 for Verstappen. Piastri's half a second off that. Ocon did a 13 flat as well on used tyres, I think. Sainz goes P2. 2.5 tenths slower in the end. Piastri does a 12.5. Yeah. Piastri is on a used set. Norris is up. Norris is up in the second sector. And Charles Leclerc's less than a 10th off it as well. Ooh. Oh! It's a 10th of a second. It's going to be a hard time to beat. The time of Max Verstappen is going to be a hard time to beat. Russell is a 10th and a half up on it, though, after the second sector. P3 or 10th and a half for Hamilton. This is going to be quicker for Russell, though. No, it's not. He lost it in the final sector. Currently, the top 6 are separated by less than 3/10. Woo! Hey, Max is being, he's rising to it, isn't he? Fair play. He's putting in good laps here. And that's the driver making the difference there. That's the driver making the difference. .123, 0.143, 0.167. Second, third, and fourth. Oof. Crazy. It's close. Perez was 1.3 seconds down, I know, but he was on used tyres, so. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. $30 out of 33 races at Spain won from the front row. And yet we still come here for good racing. Oh, Russell blaming Lewis now. Russell asking what Lewis was doing. What the fuck are you doing on your prep lap? So he's blaming Lewis for doing something. I don't know what. Hmm. Hmm. 3.5 minutes. Piastri didn't do a run. I've just realised, by the way, Piastri didn't do a run. He didn't do a time. He didn't even realise. Well, I don't know what it was. Russell was obviously behind Hamilton, and he was complaining about Lewis's prep lap. I don't know what. There's obviously some bad blood going on there, guys. There's some bad vibes going on. They're putting on this face, but behind the scenes, it's not a happy family there. It's not. And George Russell is the sort of guy that would smile to your face and stab you in the back. He's just got that vibe about him. He's just got that vibe about him. I don't know. There's just something about him. I just can't put my finger on it, like what it is with George Russell. I honestly don't know why I don't warm to him. He's just a bit slimy. There's something about his demeanor that's a bit slimy. Yeah, he's just got that vibe about him, hasn't he? It's interesting that other people do think the same about him, though. He's not done anything untoward that I would think, like nothing in particular. It's just something I just don't vibe with him. No, well, Piastri did use 2 sets in Q1, just like Hamilton and Perez, but they've already ran that use set again. So Piastri now. He is up in the first sector, but like I've said, doesn't really matter for much. You need the tyres in Sector 2 and Sector 3. Oof. Now, Sector... Oh, he's down 1/10.5. Sainz is up on Verstappen through... Oh, he's off. That's going to be a yellow flag. Yeah, it'll be clear, though. Yeah. Piastri. So Piastri's going to finish in P10. Sainz is up on Verstappen after sectors 1 and 2, but Verstappen is up on his own time by 1/10.5. Charles Leclerc's up on Verstappen's time, but again, Verstappen is further beyond that now. So I think Verstappen is improving more than the people who are catching him. Yeah, second for Sainz. Charles Leclerc, I think, is going to get P1 provisionally, and then Verstappen's going to take it back off him. No, he's still P2. But Verstappen's going to go 2/10 quicker. Yeah, this is going to be Max's to lose. 11.4 from Max. Norris is up. Norris is up on this time. Hamilton's a 10th off. Russell's a 10th off. Norris! He does! Norris! Norris, Hamilton P3. Russell P4. Oh! Norris! What a lap at the end there. What a lap at the end. Both Mercedes were a 10th down going into that final sector, and they both lost 2/10 in the final sector. So I think Mercedes could have been a little bit closer there, but they'll take P3 and 4 with both Ferraris 5 and 6. Perez down in P8, guys, and he's going to take a 3-place grid penalty. Ooh, rough. So Perez is going to start 11th. GG, Lando. That was such a good lap from Norris. And Verstappen improved on his original time as well. Oy. Fair play. Perez towed Verstappen. That Perez towed Verstappen and it still wasn't enough. Oh my God, they made Perez tow Verstappen. Now, this goes back to what Bernie Collins said. Okay. Make this make sense to me. I'm going to explain this to you. So, Perez for Q3 had one new set of tyres and one used set, okay? But they sent him out on the used set to do his original lap, which at that point was 1.3 seconds down before the final runs. Then for his final run, they sent him out on the new set, but made him tow Verstappen. Well, as Bernie said, if you were going to do the tow, send him out on the new tyres for his first run and let him max out those tyres and his position. And then if he's going to do the tow and compromise himself, put him on the old tyres. I don't know if he did it on an out lap or an in lap or exactly how he did it. So we'd have to... Well, he couldn't have done it on an out lap because I think she said it was down into turn 1. So you'd have had to have... Yeah, I don't know how they did it, but... either way. Great lap from Norris. He pulled it out at the end there. Fair play to him. Fair play. Really good qualifying. Really good qualifying. Enjoyed it. Can he hold there tomorrow? I don't know. I don't know, guys. What time is the race tomorrow? I think it's at 2 o'clock, right? 2 o'clock, yeah. I mean, yeah. Also, we didn't really talk about it much, but Alpine are actually going to start P7 and P9, right? No, they're going to start 7th and 8th because Perez gets his 3-place grid penalties. So, yeah, honestly, really, really good for Alpine as well. Yeah, lovely. I thought Max had that. Max did such a good lap. I thought it's just going to be another case of Max pulling one out. You know, in the end, Norris came through. Good. Lovely. Fair play. Fair play. Right, that's it for me. That's it for me today. I'll be back tomorrow for the race, as always. Thank you for watching it with me. I love you all. If you're watching the football, go enjoy that. I've got some boring things to do. I've cut the hedge this morning, and that was an absolute fucking mission. The hedge that goes the whole length of our garden is... Yeah, I wish I didn't start that, but it's done now. I've got some other things to do. And I'll be back tomorrow for the race. Have a lovely time this weekend, whatever you're up to. And I will see you tomorrow for what will hopefully be a good race. We'll find out tomorrow. Goodbye.